Welcome. Welcome to this section of running front brakes and a gyro specifically. And there is a hack that I've actually found out from mountain bikers. This is what mountain bikers do. And I guess I'll just explain. And it involves this spacer for a headset, right? So what we're going to end up doing is that if you can see the front brakes right here, see how there's a front brake cable, this front brake cable right here, well, it goes in and it actually goes into the forks, right? This cable goes in the forks, so that means if you want to put a spacer, right in here, you are going to have to literally take this entire cable out, right? And it's a little bit ridiculous, to be honest, right? And actually, I might even have to, I don't know. We're gonna try it out. We're gonna try this mountain bike hack out, okay? So what mountain bikers do is they actually hacksaw they hacksaw two parts out of these spacers, right? And it allows you to slide the spacer through the brake cable. So let's try it out. I haven't actually done this yet. So it's gonna be kind of interesting actually, because I have yet to do this. And my stream almost ended. Okay, so we got this going. Should bring that up like that. Sorry for the weird angle. I don't have any other thing. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hacksaw a little notch out of that right there. And we're gonna use this as a little guide right here. We have an old cable right here. We're gonna use that as a guide to make sure we can do that. So, taking a simple hacksaw, we're going to hacksaw one side out of this. Okay, so we have one. I guess I'll just cut. Okay, so I guess I'll just show it. I'll show it. So we just cut one side in. You can see one side. We're going to make another notch on the other side. And this will allow us to have enough room to get the cable right through it. And we're going to use this cable as the guide to see if it does work. So we're going to just roughly use this cable as the guide. Right there. I'm going to cut it right here. Oh, it's actually a little hard. I've never done this before. It's kind of interesting. We're going to file this down real quick, just so there's no edges that'll cut us. And just quickly put the file down. Cable guide. So what we've essentially done, like, it's a very simple hack, right? It's actually so simple, but it's actually weird. This is the first time I've actually ever tried this out. And so we cut this, and let's bring it back to the bike now. Okay, we are back to the bicycle. Now let's see if I can get this focused in. So we have this. Let's see if this. Oh, it barely fits. That's brutal. Actually, I'm gonna have to file it a little bit more. Actually, let's use this file. Okay. So actually, I cut it a little bit too little. So this is what we essentially have. We essentially have this, and see how there's this little notch right there? That is going to allow us to get the brake cable in, but I need a little bit more off of this. So taking a simple file, and the file is down just a little bit more. Come on, dude. Because I don't want to like take off my entire front brakes just to put a simple spacer on, right? Okay, let's see if it works now. We have our brake cable guide. Boom, look at that. See that? Okay, let's see if it works on the actual physical application of the bicycle now. So I'm gonna get some tools real quick. We get the six Allen wrench, and then we need an 8 Allen wrench. Or is it 8? Where did I put that 8? I'm trying to find this tool. I have to use the 8 because the other one was stripped out, so sorry about this. Let's see if we can find this. Oh, here it is. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, let's see. Is this in focus? Alright, I think it is. Okay, so we're going to undo this, right? Undo the top cap bolt. I'm going to open this up on my other phone real quick, just so I can see the angles. It's okay, it's gonna work. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take and undo this top cap bolt. I'm gonna do this hack. I'm wondering if it actually works. I don't know if it's actually going to work on me. So we're going to undo this right here, like that. We actually need to screw this completely out, and then we're going to loosen these. This is actually something I probably should have done long ago. I just haven't really messed around with it, because messing around with the gyro can get a little confusing and it can get kind of annoying too, because one of these things can like totally mess up a bunch of other stuff. So, but this is just kind of an experiment, and I want to see if this hack works, this mountain bike hack actually. And I'm thinking why the mountain bike, it's like more so a mountain bike hack that I saw it on, is because mountain bikers normally have front brakes, right? Okay, so as you can see right here, see how I take this out and see how that's still on the, I can't take that off of the brake cable, right? And I can't take this one off of the brake cable, right? So let's undo our brakes quickly. So we're gonna release our straddle cable off, release the straddle cable, and we're gonna release these two cable notches right here. And that'll allow us to bring our stem up. And we're gonna try and put the spacer underneath this one right here, this modified spacer that we just cut. And what I'm hoping is that we can put this modified spacer in there without having to literally take off the entire front brakes, which would take another hour. Okay, so we got this off. We got this off now. Okay, so this is what I was looking for. Okay, so there's a very pivotal moment right here. Let's see if this works. Okay, so I think I gotta loosen these. Gotta loosen the brakes, the front brakes. So if you want to do this, loosen the front brakes, the barrel adjuster of the front brakes, and it gives us a little bit more slack. And I don't even think this might even work. Let's see here. Got that one out, got that one out. Okay, let's see if I can just. Sorry, it's a little hard to film it, but I'm trying to put this spacer on and somehow put it through the cable and then onto the forks. Okay, so I got it to work. Boom. It actually worked. Look at that. So instead of taking all of this brake stuff off, I've just cut a notch right there. And now I'm going to put that back on, and I put this back on. And that allowed us, that modification to that part allowed us to do that way easier than it normally is, because normally it is a pain. And the only problem is this is going to raise my bars up a little bit, which I kind of didn't want, but oh well. Okay, so we're going to turn this, and let's see if we can tighten this now again. Tighten this down. We're gonna. And I guess before we tighten everything down, right, we're gonna test the brakes, because what's generally happened is when you're running brakes, right, you kind of don't want to tighten anything down unless you know it's working, right. A lot of people have messed up their brake cables and their brakes, because that's actually the one thing that I haven't heard too many people talk about, right, is you kind of want to like ease into it before you tighten everything down, right. Because sometimes if you tighten everything down before you have everything set, like say I had everything, say I just tightened everything down, right? And I'm like, okay, it's gonna work. And then I try it out and it doesn't work, right? You literally have to unscrew everything, so it's kind of good to ease into it before you start. So let's just give this a go. I'm gonna reapply these brakes on here. Come on, buddy. There we go. Okay. So there was something specifically I was aiming for, and actually I think it's not even gonna work, to be honest. Let's see, we can bring these down. actually wondering where I'm supposed to put the spacer. Okay, well that kind of works. You know what? I don't even think it's going to work that good. What if I bring these back up? I guess that will work more. But I don't know. I might just take that spacer out. I thought it was going to allow me to get me some more slack, but it really isn't allowing me that much more slack, to be honest. Huh. Well, I guess that didn't really work out. I mean, the spacer worked out, but the slack part, it's basically the same. It's very strange, actually. I guess it'll work better, maybe? Keep it. Where do I get more slack up in there? I'm looking for more slack right here. Without having to cut that. I guess we'll tighten it down. We'll see if it works. We'll test it out. We'll see how it is. I'm basically doing this just for that trick I was trying. Oh, that was not good. That's too tight. I think it gave me at least a little bit more slack than I was looking for. It's still loose, right? So subtle ebb and flow to try and get this thing to work. This side. headset's still loose. What's going on here? Messed my headset up. I guess not. Okay, let's try that. What the heck? What's going on here? Hey, maybe this is hitting that. Mess it up. It shouldn't have messed anything up. That's the thing. Something wrong with that. My headset's messed up. Exploded my headset or something. Something's way off. Let's see what's going on. Why is my headset all weird? I was not expecting it. put some weird strain on this headset right there. It's so odd. What does this look like? I screwed something up in there? Oh, maybe I like messed some bearings up or something. Headset's all messed up now. I'm gonna destroy my headset. Yeah. Must have like broke some bearings or something. I guess it was coming, but sounds terrible. Figure out how to fix this. take this. I don't know why that just happened. It's all messed up. And it's not from that spacer, it's just because I used up these bearings a lot. Yep, I'm gonna just fix that. Fudge. Oh, now I'm gonna have to take my, now I have to take my front brakes off to fix this. Darn it. I gotta take my front brakes off to fix this headset now. It seems like it exploded this headset. Oh well, let's just get it done with. I mean, I guess this headset is really, really old. It's been time that it was about to blow up on me, so it was coming. I think it's still just a ball bearing headset, that's why. Well, this sucks. I'm gonna have to take off this cable now and thread it through just to get this. Now that's the thing, if you want to put a headset spacer in, you can do that, but now if you want to go into the headset, you're going to have to take everything off. Yeah, there's no getting out of that, it's all messed up. Headset's exploded. We have exploded the headset. I should have just did the other thing I was going to do. I was going to grind those things down. I didn't want to grind them down though. That was just way too much work, but that's what I should have done actually. We're going to tape this so this doesn't fray on us and it doesn't swoop through the cable. Okay, let's fix this. I just exploded my headset. It wasn't from that thing that we did either. It's just because I've used this headset for like many, many years now. It's kind of ridiculous because I haven't really even been doing like, because I can understand if I was like airing out and stuff, but I have not even been doing this on this bike, so it's pretty crazy to think that I've messed this headset up just by doing flat man. I mean, I guess I have been using it a lot, so, you know, ultimately I guess the pressures of maybe doing those fire hydrants. If there's any trick that messed my headset up, it was probably those fire hydrants. So we're going to loop our front cable out. That. Let's take this off now. See what's wrong. Very curious now. Let's see see. I'm expecting to see broken bearings in here. Wait, I gotta get a screwdriver real quick. Darn, I don't like doing this. I was trying to do something else and I freaking broke this headset. I guess it was already broken. I know what happened. I exploded one of these bearings, and then when I loosened it up and then I put it back up, the bearing came out, and then it really just, there's no hold bar. You can't really fix it from there. Yeah, there it is. There's the culprit. I freaking broke this bearing in here. And I guess I'll bring it out and show you guys. Holy moly, this thing's just totally falling apart on me. This is crazy. I've like disintegrated this bearing, dude. I was literally riding without a bearing. Look at this. This is the bearing that was in my I don't know if it's gonna focus in on that right. Man, I freaking just shot that thing out, dude. Look at this thing, it's just gonna fall apart in my hands. Holy moly, how does that even happen? I literally like used these bearings up so much that they've just disintegrated. That's ridiculous, dude, look at that, that's so crazy. That looks so crazy, like, how does that even happen? Or wait, I need to get some paper towel. Oh no, I guess I don't. Okay, so I do have this thing right here. I'm going to see if this thing, this is actually some sealed bearings, which I think those were sealed bearings, but they somehow broke. I just disintegrated this bearing thing. So, let's see. Another part to the bearing. And the other part, that was what's making that sound. Yep, and here's the how. Bro, that was crazy. I totally just exploded this like, this is what a normal one looks like, and I just exploded it. Luckily I have another bearing in here, so hopefully this one fits in here. Yes, it does. Okay, let's see if this one will fit. Should. Oh, shnikes. Let's see this one. Oh, there's a broken bearing thing right there. All right. Okay, there we go. So we got that one. This one. This one. Okay, well we fixed it. I'm gonna oil this bearing real quick. I need to get some paper towels. I tried to fix my bike and then all these other things broke on me. This was time. We have disintegrated the bearing. And then we need to fix it. Back to square one. Now I got to put it all back together. Another reason why people don't run brakes. Man, the seat is broken, dude. We're just mowing down parts, man. Now, for some reason, like I shouldn't even be like I'm riding flat. I shouldn't even be like messing up parts at all, to be honest. So it doesn't make any sense to me. But I don't even think I'm going to do the double spacer thing, to be honest. I'm just going to see if it works. Before I tighten everything down and put on the front brakes, I need to make sure that this bearing works. So I don't want to go through a whole nother hassle of having to do this. Brutal. It was brutal. I was just trying to fix one thing on my bike and then something else breaks on me. And the thing is that like when you do blow up your headset, you can run it like that. But once you undo this and then those bearings unseat from where they're at, there's no way you can fix that. But like if you did explode your headset, like I did, you can run it like that for a long time. But once you loosen this up, once you take this and loosen it up, there's no going back. I guess it's working now. Alright, well, it works, so I guess we'll have to put the front brakes on again, which is a hassle and a half. Okie dokie. So let's undo this. Okay, so I guess I'll just say some other stuff. Okay, so if you want to make sure that, okay, so if you're running the old style front brakes where there's a rod in the front of this, you want to take your front wheel off. I think if you just have the normal brake mounts, you don't have to do this. But I'll show you. I guess I'll just tell you. But there's a rod in the middle. See how there's this thing right here? There's a rod in the middle of the brakes, right? In the forks. And when you slide your brake cable through that, you want to have your brake cable on the side where the side with this throttle thing. I can't even talk right now. I'm gonna get this done. Okay, let's undo this. And this is why people don't like running brakes. Especially all this stuff. There's so much stuff you have to do. But I like running brakes. So this is kind of the ultimatum. If you want to run brakes, you're gonna have to learn how to do all this stuff, right? That's the cruel ultimatum of running brakes is you have to learn how to do all this stuff. So we got this. I'm still debating, should I put that spacer in or not? I feel like it was cursed. I feel like I shouldn't put that spacer in. Okay, so we're going to take this. This is our front brake cable. Here. Okay, so we have a front brake cable. I'm going to push it in here. Actually, we might as well slide it down. And another big hack that I normally do is see how there's this tape at the end? Okay, so when you take your front brakes off, you want to tape this front part up. Because if you fray that end of that cable right there, it's a nightmare. Like you're going to have to get another cable basically if you fray this cable. If you fray this thing right there, you're basically going to have to get a new cable. So what I do is I put a little bit too much tape, so I'm going to have to. So what I'm going to do is just get a fresh little bit of piece of tape. Just a little bit. Because the other part is that, okay, so another reason why we tape the front part of this cable is because see how this is bent right here? This is where we tighten it on our front brakes. And the thing is if you get this part, if this front part ends up sliding through the cable, which it can happen, there's no way you can bring it back out. And it's basically a done deal. You're gonna have to get another cable. I mean, cables really aren't that expensive, but it's just such a hassle because then you have to measure out the cable, you have to cut the cable, you have to, it's just a whole bunch of work. And you can bypass all that work many times by putting a little piece of tape right on the end part where we slide it through our fork. And that saves us a lot of hassle. So if you're running front brakes and you want to know a life hack, that is one right there. Because there's been many times I had to learn it the hard way. And you only need just a little bit of tape. You don't need that much. See? Just like that. Just like that. And now we're going to flip our bike over and we're going to slide this through our forks, and there's the rod, and we want to make sure, okay, see how this part is right here and the cable goes right here? Well, there's the rod right there, and you want to make sure that you slide the cable on this side of the rod, not that side over here, on this side. So you slide it so you have a little bit more slack. Probably doesn't make sense, but you'll end up figuring it out if you have these front brakes. Okay, so we're flipping the bike over. And then slide this in here. Being very careful. Sometimes I can get it first try, and I did. So you can see through the fork, and you can see where you need to slide it on one side of the rod or the other side. Oh, actually, I need to redo this. Darn it. I put it through the wrong hole. You need to put it through this one. Okay. Okay, so we got this one down. Okay, so now, let's double check. Okay, we got that one down. Push it over here. Turn it over here. Okay, now this is the moment of where do we want to put this this spacer in, right? This is literally, I should have never made this thing. But I guess the experiment worked, right? The only reason why I had to do all this front brake stuff. Okay, so that's, I guess, another reason. Okay, so see all this front brake stuff that we did? And if you want to change out your spacer heights and stuff like that, actually, you know what? I might even customize this one again. I kind of want to like shave this down, because that's almost like a little bit too much spacer for me. I kind of want up in there. Oh, you know what? There's actually something else I could do. I could even maybe, maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll actually flip this upside down. I should maybe try that, actually. Let's give that a go. I think if we do that, that might actually give us a little bit more room. Here, I guess I'll show you. I'm just going to experiment right now. Okay, so see how these things kind of like flange down like that? I'm kind of wondering if I flip this upside. Oh, no, wait, no, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that because that means you're going to have to put a spacer right down there. Okay, so that's why I have it that way. Okay, yeah. So actually, if you do run it like that, I think, yeah, there's a reason why I'm running it like that. Man, gyros get kind of weird. Because I don't know if you see that, if you notice that, but there's a flange like this headset spacer thing kind of goes like this, right? It's like that. I kind of was thinking maybe I should flip it up, right? But no, there's a reason why I have it down like that, because I put a spacer underneath it. And then I was wondering, like, that's what I was wondering with this one. I was gonna put this spacer, put two spacers in there. I kind of want to file this down, just because it's like a little bit too much spacer, right? And I only need like half of this, so that's the problem. I need like a half spacer to put it in there, so I might file this down. But I don't know, that's a lot of work. I mean, I guess that's not that much work, but I guess I could just do it right now, honestly, but I just have to file this down. I don't think it's really filing down, really. I mean, I guess I could just make it work if I really wanted to. Because ultimately why I was doing the whole headset spacer thing is I want more slack on my brakes, right? But, oh well, we've been running at this like this for so long, let's just keep it. I don't even know how I was wanting. Well, that's why I wanted to change this, because I wanted more slack, but oh well. You know they make smaller headset spacers? Yeah, I know they make the smaller headset spacer. I just don't have one. This is the only one I have left. Because I know they do make actually a half size of this one. Good call. But yeah, I guess, I don't know if you've seen it, but the mountain bikers, I don't know if you mountain bike or if you run front brakes, but if you're a front brake runner, cutting a notch in here will really help you out if you want to experiment with headset spacer height, right? And I guess right now I'm kind of like in the little thing of, do I want to run 2 spacers or do I want to just run 1? I think I'm just going to run 1. I think that's just the, yeah, let's just run 1 spacer. I was like thinking about it too much. Okay, so from here, we're going to put our front wheel back on. It looks like we have all our stuff dialed up in here. So I'm going to flip our bike over. Oh, you're a bicycle technician. Sweet, dude. The gyros are weird, huh? So I'm running like an old school gyro. But yeah, there's so many strange parts. I literally actually went to the bike store the other day, and I was like, hey, do you guys have any gyro cables? They're like, nah. Because the gyro cables are a very like specific part, right? Like it's a very like, I wonder if, do they make mountain bikes with gyros? I don't know. I don't think they do, right? Okay, so we're going to put our front wheel back on. Okay, so we have our front wheel back on. I'll show you some other weird hacks that I do. So one of the hacks that I do for like front brake, for putting on my front brakes, where's my cable? Okay. I guess that might show a little bit more of what I am doing. I guess I'm going to get in the way though. Oh, I thought that was going to fall me. Okay, so we're going to have our front brake cable right here. And okay, so there's 2 ways that I go about doing this. Okay, see this front brake cable right here? Some flatland riders, they run it on the outside of the front fork. See, so, like you can either run this front brake cable like outside like that, which most people actually do. But the problem is that, see how my fork right here is all like, look at how polished that is. It's just silver polish, right? And that's from my foot going to the peg, right? And the thing is, if you have the brake cable on the outside of the fork, sometimes you can graze the cable with your foot and it messes up the cable. So what some flatlanders do, which I've adapted into my own thing of how I run front brakes, is that I put this cable and I run it through the back side of the fork, like that. But the only problem is if you run it on the back side of the fork, you have to, because then you go, well, isn't it going to hit the tire? Because it does hit the tire, right? So if you run it on the back side of the fork, sorry, I got to spill all that. If you run it on the back side of the fork, see how it hits the tire right here? Well, the only thing is you have to use zip ties, and you zip tie this front cable. But I would rather mess up zip ties than mess up my front brake cable. So that's why I do it. See? They do more so for DJC, the dirt jumping scene. Those, and they are hydraulic. I run them inside the fork for BMX builds with front brakes. Oh, for sure, yeah. Yeah, I've actually noticed, I think, I've noticed like some people do both. But, yeah, that's why I run it on the inside. And let's see if I don't have to mess this cable up, because, man, fraying this cable sucks, dude. That's why I put this little bit of tape right here. So, let's undo this tape. And I'm going to run it through here. Hopefully I don't fray the cable. Because I do not like fraying cables. Anybody that runs brakes, dude, I hate fraying cables. It just sucks. Boom, it didn't fray. We've got it through. Okay, so let's put it through this one. And then hopefully this doesn't fray it. Boom, we have done it. Okay, so another hack I do is, see how like this, so sometimes what's hard about front brakes, right, is because, you know, if you want to have like the right tension on them, because your barrel adjuster only has that much you can adjust it, right? So what I end up doing is I find some vice grips and I kind of get it to where it'll fit I get it to where it fits right here. Like that, a little bit tighter. And then what I do, let me put just a little bit of tension on here. Where's that tool at? I'm going to tighten this just a little bit so it doesn't fall out of me. So then what I do is I press on these brakes like so, like this. So I press on the brakes so it has some tension on the brakes, and then I clamp it down right here. Let me actually close them up a little bit more. And so now my brakes are already tensioned up, right? And then I like doing this to where I could see the tension, because then I can adjust how much slack on this barrel adjuster without having to actually hold the brakes, right? Because with these old style brakes, you kind of have to do that. And so I like having it like that so I can kind of like gauge, you know, so I have like a centimeter of slack right there. And that I can kind of see that I have a centimeter right there, so I can push this cable a little bit more out. I don't know. That's what I do. I run that tool that you need is called a brake third hand. I've never seen that, huh? A brake third hand, huh? See, I've never worked at a bike shop, so I don't really know what tools they actually use, right? I just use a vice grip, though. I didn't even know they had a tool for that. But you know what would be cool is getting sponsored by Park Tool. So there's actually this BMX rider, his name's Brant Moore. If you look him up on YouTube, his name's Brant Moore, like Brant Moore BMX or something. But that dude's sponsored by Park Tool. So he has like all these like legit part tool bike tools, right? It's awesome. You know, another thing I do is that I guess the actual bike tool I have is this brake cable cutter. This is my only like legitimate like bike. If you run brakes, if anybody out there watches this and you run brakes, this is one tool that I highly suggest, because if you cut them with like one of these things, it frays the cables. And that's why the bike shops use these. But you know, one of the things I do is I actually reuse these napers. I know at the bike shop they probably have just tons of these, right? These like little napers at the end of the, you use at the end of the cable. But see how like I'm using it? So like I reuse these because, you know, when you buy a cable, they only give you like 2 of these things. Or when I buy cables, it only seems like they give you 2 of these things. So what I end up doing is I end up crimping it. Like, see how I crimped it once at the top, and then the second crimps right there, and then I have two more times I could actually reuse this this naper, or I think it's called a naper. I don't know what it's called. But you know how like you crimp it with this thing right here? So I crimp it once, I crimp it twice, and I've already done it twice. And the thing is, when I was younger, I used to just crimp it right there, right? And then if you crimp it right there, you can't reuse it, right? Or I don't know. That's how I see it. Then there is a brake's fourth hand, which it pinches and pulls the inner cable tighter. Interesting. Yeah, we have thousands of cable ends. I'm gonna get some zip ties. So the other thing I do for like the flatland seat, like they probably have another tool for this, but for flatland, what I do is I just use the, because actually what's weird is actually these forks right here aren't actually meant for front brakes. Normal forks will have that like circle, right, and then you put the rod in it. Actually, if I had legit front brake forks, they would have mounts right here. But I'm running like cheap front brakes, but it works for some reason. They've been working for me because I don't have actual front brake forks. Because if you had legit front brake forks, there'd be a mount right there, right? There'd be a mount, and then you put the front brakes right there with the different type of front brakes. And then normally, if you have the front brake forks, they have a little cable guider thing, right, where you slide the cable through it, right? But since I don't have that, and see how it's like hitting my tire right here, what I have to do is I have to use zip ties, and then I zip tie it so it doesn't hit my tire. And then take this. Find that little text where it's at. Just cut this one, and I generally use two. Zip ties, because if you use one zip tie and you hit it, it kind of like moves around. But if I use 2 of them, it kind of wants to stay in there a little bit better. all messed up. Bike's moving on me. Take this one off. You know, actually, I had a conversation with Brant Moore, and me and him had this conclusion that because the BMX scene has become more brakeless, that it's actually affected the bike shops, right? Because a lot of people, what happened to my neighbor? I just lost it. Because you know how like a lot of the BMX riders, they don't run brakes anymore? Well, the thing is, like, we had this conclusion that because of that, it's actually affecting the bike shops a lot, right? So I kind of wish brakes would kind of come back into the scene, right? Because it might even help the bike industry out more and bike shops more. So yeah. Any thoughts on the brakeless scene? Because that's the problem. That's what started the brakeless scene, right? Is because people didn't know how to work on their brakes, right? Okay, let me adjust my wheel. But the other reason why I love brakes is because you can just center your wheel, right? Because you know when you have your brakes on, you just press on the brake, and it will center your wheel for you. And that's how I center my wheel, but there we go. It's got loose. Okay. This one back on. That one back on. There we go. Just this again. You just gotta adjust the slack. I messed it all up. All right, there we go. That's now. Okay, well there we go. Now let's tighten all this stuff up. I think I need to tighten this still. And my wheel, I need to just roll on. Back to your comment about being sponsored by Park Tool. I think every mechanic technician who would love to be sponsored. Yeah, I know, huh? Just that blue color, man. Once you see that blue color, like, you just know. You're like, bro, that dude has a Park Tool. They've been around for a long time, man. Ever since I started riding my bike. I'm actually wondering what the history of that company is. Because ever since I started riding my bike, I just remember that company. Well, I just fixed my exploded headset. Oh, my headset's still loose. I'm gonna tighten it down. Yeah, I hope the BMX industry gets back into running brakes. I honestly think if more BMXers started running brakes, the bike shops would thrive more. Which I don't think the bike shops are really going anywhere because of, I think the bike isn't going to go anywhere soon, but just in terms of needing bike mechanics and stuff, right? You know, the other weird thing, I don't know if you've ever seen these, you probably have, but you know, like these pegs are weird, right? These pegs are actually flatland pegs, right? And they have like this grip on them. But what's weird about the flatland pegs is they have this end cap. A lot of them have this end cap. And I don't know if you can tell, but this end cap is so worn down. Because normally, normally if this, look at how worn down this end cap is. Normally you can take one of these and stick it in here. I guess a smaller one. I think if you took a smaller size, they have like this thing where you just stick it in there and you can undo it. But the thing about it is it's almost like this anti-theft, like front wheel anti-theft thing because it's so worn down, right? Because when I put it on, if you tighten it just a little bit, that's why I have this tool right here. If you tighten this just a little bit, a normal person that was going to steal my front wheel, they wouldn't be able to, right? Because they'd be like, they'd be like, dude, how do I even like undo this thing, right? Because you can't undo it with your hand, right? You have to undo it with a big wrench because it's so worn down. So I kind of like this because this is kind of like an anti-theft, thing. What do you think about the bike theft, right? The bike theft stuff. Do you think that bike shops, you know what bike shops should get? Bike shops should have like their own like Apple AirTag, right? To put like on a bike, right? Because I think that would really be interesting to see. There we go. All that work just to fix my headset. That was just ridiculous just to fix my headset. It was way too much work to do that. And that's the problem with brakes, right? I had to do all that stuff just to fix my headset. If you were brakeless, that would have took 10 minutes. Bring this back over here. Plug this back in. Man, that was just a hassle. But okay, it's okay. I needed to get it done. Well, that was something, there was no going back. I had to get that done because I exploded my headset, so. Okay, let's give these brakes a try, right? Give them a test try. Take all this stuff. Seems like they work. I don't know. I'm a brake rider at heart, man. So the thing is that I grew up racing, right? So it's kind of weird because I'm riding flatland now, but I grew up racing BMX. And the thing is that if you go to like a racetrack or you go and like try and compete, right, they do not allow you to be on the track if you don't have brakes. So ever since then, because I went to this racing camp, right, and they're like, bro, you need to have brakes, or like there'd be like somebody like brakeless, and they'd be like, you need to have brakes, right? Like There's just no going about it. Like, you need brakes to run this stuff, man. I didn't land it. See, my headset's working. We'll do a headset check. Oh, I think my headset's a little tight. It is kind of tight. Yeah, it is. That's always been the rule, yeah. I was brakeless for like 2 years, but I don't know, dude. I've always just brakes have actually literally saved my life. There's actually been 2 times in my life where if I didn't have brakes, I probably would have ran into a car when I was like out riding the street and stuff. So, I mean, I don't know, saved my life, but it saved me from getting hit by a car. So that's cool. There's some fire on set. Nope. Stuff up. Yeah. What I'm looking actually for now, actually I want to get some locking brake levers. They don't make them anymore, but I do want to mess around with some locking brake levers. There's some BMX tricks that you can only do if you have locking levers, which is kind of crazy to think about. Looks like it's kind of working though. I have to adjust my wheel again. One thing I have to do is alignment. My wheel is out of alignment. You know, it'd be cool if like artistic cycling and trials riding got bigger in America, right? For some reason, like in America, like trials riding, you know, like trials mountain bike where they like hop on their back. For some reason, man, it has never taken off in America. I don't know why. And then the artistic cycling, you know, like Viola loves cycling, like the people that do it on like the fixies. For some reason, they don't have companies out in America, and the trials bikes too. So I'm like wondering, like, why is it just like it literally seems like everywhere but America does like the trials riding and like the artistic cycling. I kind of don't know why. Which flatland is kind of like akin to artistic cycling. It is like the closest, especially like if you see Viola. I think a lot of people have seen Viola ride, right? She does a lot of like flatland tricks actually from BMX. Okay. I bent my brakes or something. No, out of line. Oh, darn. Oh, darn it. But yeah, flatland BMX is really weird. Like flatland, it's definitely more of like a niche thing, right? But I think it's gonna start growing. It has been growing. And word on the street is flatland BMX is gonna be in the next Olympics, or it's gonna start being in the Olympics now. So pretty cool. With it, just it's gonna be. I think once the next Olympics rolls around a corner, there's going to be an explosion in flatland. Because right now it's kind of like this, like, flatland's always kind of been kind of like a part of this kind of unorthodox niche group, right? Because you think of like BMX, right? Or you think about just riding your bike. You think about like riding the city, or you think about riding the jumps, or a skate park, right? You kind of don't necessarily think about riding a bike in a very small area, right? But I think one of the big advantages, and one of the greatest advantages to flatland, is that I've received comments over the years saying, well, I don't have a skate park by me, I don't have dirt jumps, I don't have a street spot. But the thing about flatland is basically no matter where you live, I've even seen people do flatland in the dirt. Like literally there's people that do flatland in the dirt. So it's like you can kind of learn flatland anywhere. And you can also learn flatland in very, very tight spaces. So this is a 15 by 15 square foot area. But I've even seen some flatland riders riding like even 5 by 5 or like 8 by 8. It is gnarly. Like it's so crazy. And there's just so much to learn in flatland. So, yeah, I think after the next Olympics, if flatland really, that's what somebody said. Somebody said flatland was going to be in the Olympics. But I think after the next Olympics, there's definitely going to be an explosion of people wanting to get into flat riding. I actually landed that line. I didn't land that one. I'm actually gonna stream mark that. That's like the only thing I've actually landed today. Wait up. Switch to creator mode. Stream manager.